Welcome to Alela. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got two lands and double tethered. Oh, do we want to keep on this one? Thread Dynamo. Yeah, we'll give this one a shot. Hopefully, we run into a few more lands, or at least a card draw source. That way we can get down Thread Dynamo. But yeah, when we've got double tethered in the hand, that gets me very, very excited. So we're going to be hopefully we're able to get down double tethered and have some fun. We also do have Depose and Deploy, which is one of my favorite cards from the new Ravnica set. So it's always nice to see that. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that we run into another land. It's going to lead off with Arcane Sanctum. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we're playing Alela. Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Other creatures you control flying get +1/+0. Then, whenever you cast an artifact or an enchantment spell, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. Playing gets Wort the Raidmother. The Cycled Forgotten Cave. I thought they suspended something. And let's see. All right, run into Scalding Tarn. All right, I feel a lot better about keeping this now. Let's go Scalding Tarn. And then anything else will pass turn to our opponent. Playing against Wort the Raidmother. Whenever Wort enters the battlefield, create two 1/1 red and green goblin warrior creature tokens. Then each red or green instant or sorcery spell you cast has Conspire. So cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. You're going to build your very own, Vexing Shusher. I think at this point, since we really, really want to hit Thran Dynamo, I think we might end up going for Depose and Deploy. I would love to cash in a lot of life gain, especially if we're going to be running into some burn spells or something from our opponent. But yeah, I think that's going to be a good option. So let's go and crack Scalding Tarn because we want to make sure we can get to that Thran Dynamo as quickly as possible. So let's go and grab this Underground Sea. Let's go for Depose. I'm going to tap down Shusher. No, you Shusher over there. And run into Demonic Tutor. So that'll really kind of open us up as far as grabbing Mana Crypt or something like that. So then we run into the other land. So that was a nice little exchange. I like that. I guess at this point we Demonic Tutor or mana. That's still going to end up being 3 mana. So we'll just end up going Scrub Land. I guess we could force Demonic Tutor right now if we wanted to. But I think at this point, we'll just go and pass the turn. I'll kind of explain what we'll probably end up holding a Demonic Tutor for. But yeah, I think I already said MTGOTraders. If not, be sure to check them out for any sort of artifact build you want to go with the Alela. Let's also give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off anything off the website. So if you have not treated yourself in a long time, make sure you head on over there and treat yourself. I also do have some swag over there, some merch. If you want to check that out, go to their website, type in JOLT539 in the search bar. You can see the t-shirts and the playmats that I designed. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. Get your name at the beginning or the ending of the credits, or both, if you want to support cool content like this. And if you can't do that, hey, no problem. Just much obliged if you tell somebody about the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, it is officially free time. Let's have some fun. All right, so we'll see what we run into next turn. We at least have the land drop, which is going to be wonderful. And I'll also run into another lane with Hollowed Fountain, which is going to be good. Now, we could go for Alela. I think I kind of like that. Because we go Alela, then we just start casting these artifacts, and that'll be a pretty good option. So, and also it allows us to do is protect Tezzeret once we get them down. So let's go for Alela. If our opponent's got some spot removal, they've got it. We're not in a huge pressure to get her down and really start. It's just kind of like a value play. You know, if Alela sticks around, awesome. Then we can kind of run that into Thran Dynamo. We can hopefully run into a few more artifacts and then kind of go from there. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So, now as far as this Alela build, super excited. This is a build, like, when I've done I've been doing my channel for about 2 or 3 years now, and sometimes I have a deck idea that they just don't have a commander for. So, I've always wanted to do Esper Tezzeret. You know, I did it with Chromium. I've done it with a few other people. I've done Fanax, Mindcrank. There's just hasn't been an actual commander that's going to support this Esper Tezzeret artifact build that I've always wanted to play. And then once they released Alela, I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect, because we're going to be able to get those artifact tokens on the battlefield. Not the artifact tokens, but we're at least going to be able to get these fairy tokens on the battlefield. Let's make sure. Okay, the good thing is that we don't, they can deal 1 damage to like one of our tokens or something, but that's really not going to be that bad. So, and I'll kind of explain the deck idea here in just a second. So let's go, and actually if we shock, that's going to be perfect. So, excuse me, let's go for Thran Dynamo. Had a quick hiccup right there. We're going to get that token on the battlefield. Let's go and close out of the command zone. Get that 1/1 fairy token. We'll be able to shock in Hollowed Fountain and still end up going for Sad Robot, which would be a very nice effect. So let's go and shock in Hollowed Fountain. Definitely going to pay that 2 life. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Get an extra token to tag along with Sad Robot is such a nice feeling, especially when you get it laying down too. Oh, love it. Yes, definitely going to use that ability. I think at this point, we're way okay on white. Blue tends to be our utility pieces, so I'm just going to go and grab an island because that's the one we'll probably get, the color that we'll get bottlenecked the most on. Let's go and push in with the Alela at Chandra. There we go. And then anything else, pass it back over to our opponent. But yes, I've always enjoyed playing Tezzeret. I love playing an artifact build of Tezzeret. My favorite combo, and I played this in Modern for a very, very long time, was the Minecraft combo, which kind of suits very well to a Tezzeret shell. And so whenever I got really back into Commander, I've always wanted to have like a home for my Minecraft combo deck. And it was, I built, you know, like Chromium, Esper artifacts, I had built Phoenix, Minecraft, and then once they released Alela, the fact that you just get, whenever you have a commander that allows you to get an extra value from something that you would normally be doing anyway, it is such a strong commander. It's the reason why Tulane is so nice, because you get down Tulane, then you just start casting your creatures like normally, and you get an extra creature that it's like going to a restaurant and they're like, hey, it's buy one, get one free. You just get a little bit of extra value, and it's so nice. And that's also what Alela provides with this deck, being the actual commander for an Esper artifact deck. We can get down Tezzerets, we can go for the plus abilities. Once we get Tezzeret, Agent of Bonus ready, we can go for that minus ability. We can make them lose a bunch of life. We're going to be able to protect them with these fairy tokens. So we can actually just sit back, go for these Tezzeret activations, just keep plugging away. Opponent's going to be going for the plus ability to pop our fairy tokens. That's perfectly fine. Now we do have Austere Command, so we'll kind of see what ends up happening. Dual casting. We might end up going for Austere Command on that dual casting. Yeah, that doesn't sound that much fun. Now what we can do, yeah, because we've got double Tezzerets, we could Demonic Tutor to get rid of these two creatures. Now if we end up going Toxic Deluge, it wouldn't be that good. We'll get rid of most of our stuff on the battlefield. But if we wanted to get rid of that token, we could actually, yeah, I think that actually might be a pretty good option. Let's do that. Let's see what we draw into first, though. All right, so, just run into an answer for Evolution Sage right then and there. Let's go and push in with the two fairy tokens, or at least the two flying threats in at Chandra. We're going to make sure we keep her off the battlefield, and then we'll see if we can't end up going for Tezzeret. So let's go and swing in with Alela and this extra little fairy, and the fact that Alela gives you an extra +1 to the tokens that you're already getting down. I mean, it's just, love it. It's beautiful. It's also the same reason why I love Kaikar so much, because, you know, you get down Kaikar and then you just start doing, you know, going for your Swords to Plowshare, going for your Anticipates, your Brainstorms, and then you get the extra Spirit token that tags along. It is a very nice feeling. So we do get rid of Chandra. Just so there's no funny business, Lebowski, we're probably going to go for Swords to Plowshare on Evolution Stage just straight up. We just want to make sure they don't have the opportunity to respond to that. That's just not going to be a lot of fun for us. I think at this point, if we want to start getting artifacts, either one's going to be about the same. So I think that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's just go for Big Tezzeret. I mean, it's going to be the same thing, and we'll have a few more activations. So, and we'll tap down, leave up that 2 mana, tap down 3 and Dynamo, and we'll simply just go for the +1. We don't have a ton of artifacts out there, but one of the ways that we can combo off with this, Talisman, that's a beautiful option. Let's go Talisman. That's going to give us an extra fairy token, and I'll kind of explain how we can win with Tezzeret activation. So anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. Now, with this Tezzeret build, there's 2 main combos that we are running in here, 3 main kind of strategies that we're trying to implement. Tezzeret activations, you know, you can get a lot of artifacts down, go for Tezzeret activation, make our opponent lose X life, where X is the number of artifacts we control. Pretty much most of your Tezzeret Planeswalkers are going to have some variation of that, and it's a ton of fun to do that. I just love going for Tezzeret. It's pretty cool. The other 2 wins that we're trying to go for is the Thopter Foundry combo. That's going to be Sword of the Meek and Thopter Foundry. That's going to allow us to just slowly generate a ton of those Thopters, which works out really well with Tezzeret because those are 1/1 artifacts. Very nice. And so, and the other game plan is Minecraft combo. So there's just a lot of different ways that we can attack our opponent's life total where it feels pretty good. So let's go Command Tower. And before we go for these Tezzeret activations, we just want to start digging. Actually, with Demonic Tutor, we can go for that Lattice. I think that'll be pretty good. So let's go for Tezzeret. Yeah, let's do this. So let's go Tezzeret. It's going to be 1/2 off of 3 and Dynamo. And we're going to go for the +1, because we're going to keep our creatures on the battlefield. So let's go +1, look at the top 5 cards of our library. Let's see if we can't grab it. All right, no artifacts. Click OK. Put them on the bottom in any order. Let's go for the plus on Tezzeret, because we might get lucky and run into the piece that we're looking for. And that's going to put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so let's go Demonic Tutor. And we're going to go and grab that piece that it's going to be the Lattice. That's going to go into our hand. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just go for Talisman. And then Talisman's going to enter the battlefield. We've gone for double activations. Let's still go and push in with the Flying Crew. I think what we'll do is we'll just swing in with Alela. And this may be a little bit overkill, but at this point, we want to make sure that we're going to be able to go for these Tezzeret activations. So we're going to go and swing in with Alela. It's going to put our opponent down to 31. And then once we get down Lattice next turn, that's going to make all permanents artifacts. It's going to be able to allow us to go for some really, really nice Tezzeret activations. It's going to be Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas activation, and Master of Metal activation, which should be enough to close it out. So anything else, we're going to go and pass turn over to our opponent. So we'll get kind of a head count on that. That's the cool thing with Lattice, is it's going to turn everything into artifacts, including our opponent's stuff. So once that does happen, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we're going to have 17 artifacts on the battlefield, 18 with Lattice. And then once we go for the activations, typically it's going to be double or X. So we're going to be in a pretty good spot to close the game out with these activations. And it's going to be nice to be able to kind of show off a Tezzeret win. You know, that's always kind of a good feeling, being able to have that happen. Hopefully next turn. We'll see what our opponent's got in their hand. But being able to go for double Tezzeret activations would be nice. Let me rephrase that, because I would hate to think we're going to win and then something ends up happening. But the way it's looking right now, it looks like it's looking pretty. If you're keeping score at home, it's looking pretty good. So we'll see if they decide to swing in. We've got blockers to stop most of this stuff, and we should be able to close it out, especially once we get down Lattice. So that's the other way that we kind of close it out with Tezzeret. You can go for the Tezzeret activations without Lattice. It's just going to take a little bit of time to do it. This just allows you to get it over with very, very quickly, which is a nice feeling. So let's go for Lattice. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. We'll tap down Talisman, and tap down one more. That's going to give us an extra token on the battlefield. And then we go for Tezzeret activation number 1, which is going to be target opponent's going to lose life equal to the number of artifacts we control. Oh, this is beautiful. Tezzeret is so happy right now. That's going to knock down basically a little over half their life total, put them down to 11. We go for the last -4 activation. Oh, this is beautiful. If you're a fan of Tezzeret. There we go. Put our opponent down to -27. We go to 68. Lattice is definitely, there's a lot of ways that you can abuse Lattice. You can blow everybody's stuff up. But using Lattice in this way is kind of its intended purpose. We get a lot of artifacts on the battlefield. We set up a really nice Tezzeret. Our opponent was trying to set up stuff on their side of the battlefield. They didn't really have that big of a board state. But with Wort, they're trying to ramp as quickly as possible. So we're able to, it's turn 8. And you can see what we got down. We're able to ramp out pretty quick. And thankfully ran into a few lands very early on, which kind of help us enable this game plan. But if you enjoyed those Tezzeret activations, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Alela. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we'll keep on this. This is another risky keep, but we just got done playing against Wort the Raidmother, so hopefully our opponent can assemble a little bit better stuff on their side of the battlefield. So we'll keep on this one, and then keep our fingers crossed that we do get lucky with this Ponder. We're going to be able to look at the top 3, so keep our fingers crossed. And if you're keeping score at home, be sure to pray to the magic gods that we do run into either second land or Ponder treat us right. So anything else, pass turn to our opponent. We're playing Alela, Tezzeret's pawn. Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Other creatures you control flying get +1/+0. Then whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. Playing gets Wort the Raidmother. She wants some more. He's like, had enough of Tezzeret. I'm going to beat Tezzeret, so let's bring it. And I'll cover. Oh, there we go. That's exactly how we drew it up. Let's go Plains. Let's go Talisman. Yeah, I like that. And we've got Thopter Foundry in the hand. That's kind of why I kept on this one, because I want to be able to get the Thopter Foundry combo going. That sounds pretty good. So anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Play gets Wort the Raidmother. Whenever Wort enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red and green goblin creature tokens. Then each red or green instant or sorcery spell you cast has conspired. That is, as you cast a spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share a color with it. When you do, copy it. Choose new targets for the spell. So we'll see what's in store for us. The other good thing is that we do have Damnation, and that'll definitely allow us to clear up any sort of conspiring that our opponent might end up trying to go for. So let's go Arcane Signet. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll go Arcane Signet. That'll still allow us to end up going for Ponder. And we don't think we And our opponent's a friend of the channel. They just not realized they were playing against me. So, hey, shout out to our opponent. Hopefully this ends up making the cut. That'll be pretty cool. Let's go for Ponder. And we've got Arcane Signet down, which is a really nice feeling. And yeah, Phyrexian Arena, Fabricate, and yeah, these are all perfectly fine. Let's put Fumigate on top of our library, put Fabricate on top, because that'll definitely allow us to grab Sword of the Meek. And we'll put Phyrexian Arena on top. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. So I'm not going to shuffle our library. We'll draw into that Phyrexian Arena, and then we'll pass turn over to our opponent. Okay, and pass it back over to, sorry, I was chatting with our opponent for a second. They said, sorry for the spanking last game. Well, hey, sometimes that happens. You know, Magic is a random element game. Sometimes, you know, you may have a slow start, we may have a fast start. That's just kind of what makes Commander, that's what makes Magic fun sometimes. You get to have those moments where you end up with everything goes right, you draw those cards, you end up, you know, keep a one lander, and then you get a lot of mana or something like that. It's just, you know, sometimes Magic treats you all right, so it's always nice. We did cover both commanders. We covered sponsors in the last video. It is officially free time. Let's have some fun. So we do have Thopter Foundry in the hand. Hopefully we can get the Thopter Foundry combo going this turn. I think that'll be pretty fun. We do have Fumigate on top of our library, so if we want to make the land drop, because we could tap out for Phyrexian Arena, but that does not sound that fun at this point right now. I think Sad Robot's going to be the better option for sure. Yeah, let's do that, because that's going to allow us to grab a black source. And yeah, that's just, I want to get ahead on mana, at least make sure we're making the land drop. So yes, definitely use that ability. Let's grab ourselves a swamp, have that enter the battlefield, and then anything else, pass it back over to our opponent. So as far as the Thopter Foundry combo, if you don't know how this operates, so we have Thopter Foundry. For a 1-mana activation, sacrifice a non-token artifact. Create a 1/1 blue Thopter creature token with flying, you gain 1 life. So with Sword of the Meek, it is a equipment, it goes to the graveyard. I mean, once you sacrifice it, it goes to the graveyard. Then it says, hey, whenever a 1/1 creature enters the battlefield, return this from the graveyard to the battlefield. So it is a combo. It doesn't win right then and there. There's other ways that you can utilize that. But for the most part, for every 1 mana that you have, as long as you can sacrifice Sword of the Meek, it's going to go back to the graveyard. Once it goes to the graveyard, that Thopter Foundry token activation happens. Then you're going to be able to just basically, you know, at this point we've got 5 total mana. Then we can basically just pay 5 and get a lot of Thoppers on the battlefield, which is pretty fun. I enjoy it. We do have Hedron Archive we can go for. At some point, we do need to get down to Alela. Opponent's pretty strapped on red mana at this point right now, but that may be kind of the way they've got this deck set up. So I think at this point, yeah, let's go with Alela. That way we can get those Thoppers, or we could end up going Fabricate on Sword of the Meek, and that's like our entire turn, which I'm not super thrilled about. Let's do this. Let's go for Hedron Archive. I kind of like this. So we can go Hedron Archive. That's going to allow us to get down that extra 2 mana, and then we can go for Fabricate and grab Sword of the Meek. Yeah, that'll be better. So let's go Fabricate. And the other thing about the Thopter Foundry combo, it's really not that, you know, that bad of a combo in a way. You know, it's a pretty honest combo. You know, you can be able to just spend as much mana. And at this point, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each turn, we're going to be able to completely tap out and get 7 more Thopters. And it's just a lot of fun to, it's a lot of fun to do this sometimes with going for the Thopter Foundry. Opponent's going to go for Reiterate. Okay, I like that. That's pretty cool. So they're going to be able to copy Fabricate. So our opponent did mention that they're a little bit strapped on green mana. So hopefully they're going to be able to grab it with this Fabricate. So they're going to copy Fabricate. We'll see what they end up searching for. They're going to be able to put, they do have to reveal it. So at least get the reveal zone popped up. And I think, yeah, we'll probably end up, we could go for Mindcrank too. That's the other option. Since we did run into Dustmantle Guildmage. We have to get lucky and get both of our combo pieces in our opening hand. But I think this game will probably end up going for the Thopter Foundry combo, just because it's just a ton of fun. And it's doing really, really good in Modern right now. I don't have Urza in this build. Normally Urza would be in this Alela build. I think Urza allows you to go infinite with Thopter Foundry. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. But when I went to go pick up Urza, Urza was out of stock. So that's, if you're looking at the deck list and you're like, Jolt, 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 why is Urza not in here? Urza should be in here, but Urza was out of stock. So that happens sometimes. All right, so we could grab Mindcrank. I'm not a huge fan of going for that right now. Yeah, let's get this going. Let's get Sword of the Meek. It's going to go into our hand, and then anything else will go and pass the turn. Our opponent did end up grabbing a Gruul Signet. Yeah, I think we're just going to hold back on Sad Robot. That way we can cash in a card draw and we'll be able to start to go for that. Next turn, that's going to be, if we want to do everything we want to next turn, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be just enough. I love doing this. So next turn we go Phyrexian Arena. We should have enough black. Yeah, I think we've got enough to do both. So we tap down Phyrexian Arena. We get that down. Go for Sword of the Meek. We're going to be able to deploy everything out. We are playing against red-green, so we do have to worry about artifact destruction stuff. But thankfully, we do have Dust Metal Guildmage in the hand, so that way if something does end up happening, we'll at least be able to kind of have like a plan B for the deck. And we still haven't even got down Alela yet, so we're not really in a position to where we need to get those tokens going. If we're going to go for the Thopter Foundry token, it's a good way for us to kind of go for a little bit of spot removal check from our opponent, and or any spot removal would work in this scenario. Let's see what they're tapping down for. And that's going to be 2 Goblin Warrior tokens entering the battlefield. Now, if we want to hit the reset button, we can just straight up reset and go for damnation. Yeah, let's go for Sad Robot block on Runaway. We're able to dodge that damage. And then, yes, definitely use that ability to cash in a card draw. And then we draw into Arcane Sanctum. So, Darksteel Citadel. Yeah, I think... so if we get down Darksteel Citadel, I think Damnation is going to be a good thing for us. Yeah, let's do that, because that's going to allow us to kind of hit the reset button. And it'll be 1, 2... We can still go for Darksteel Citadel, which will allow us to go for Sword of the Meek. Yeah, that'll be good. So we get down Darksteel Citadel. And sorry to our opponent, I always feel kind of bad if they have a bad game 1, but I mean, we're here to play some commanders. So let's go for blue, and then we tap down white. That's going to be Thopter Foundry. And then hopefully we should be able to kind of bounce back, or at least kind of start to establish a board state, start swinging in our opponent. So anything else past turnover our opponent. So next time we are looking at Phyrexian Arena. That's going to allow us to go for that, and then we can start ripping through some of these Thopter tokens once we get down. If we start cashing in some card draw somehow, let's say we run into one of our X spells. We do have Sphinx Revelation in here. We have Pull from Tomorrow. So if we do draw to a ton of cards, we can go for Alela. But the other cool thing is that we can actually spend an entire turn going for the Thopter Foundry activations, get those Thopter downs, then just simply cast Alela, and we're going to get that +1/+0. So you can definitely see why running the Thopter Foundry combo in a deck like this is just nice. I don't know. I love playing the deck, and it's always a lot of fun. Outside of that, you saw Tezzeret in game 1. We've talked about Thopter Foundry. Just going to talk about Mindcrank. So the way the Mindcrank combo works is it's going to allow you to close the game out at instant speed. One of two things are going to happen. Either your opponent runs out of life total, or they run out of cards to mill from their library. The way it works is that we go for Dust Metal Guildmage. Whenever a card's put into graveyard, that player loses 1 life. So you go over to Mindcrank. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Mindcrank says, hey, whenever an opponent loses life, they put a card in the graveyard. So once you have both of these on the battlefield, you go for the 3-mana activation with Dust Metal Guildmage. It's going to create a loop in which that card goes to the graveyard, they lose a life, card goes to the graveyard. Like I mentioned, 1 or 2 things happen. Either A, they run out of life, or B, they run out of cards. So even if your opponent has infinite life, it doesn't matter. That Dust Metal Guildmage is going to get rid of all of those, make them mill them out. So, and even if they do have Eldrazi to shuffle stuff back in, eventually the loop still keeps going with the Eldrazi shuffle effect, because those cards still hit the graveyard and still get that trigger. Now they get shuffled back in, and basically that'll get rid of their entire life total, but it'll just kind of create that loop, and eventually they'll run out of life and go down to 0. It's a really fun combo. It's not fun for your opponent, but playing Mindcrank in Modern was always... It's just getting ready to explain the combo is such a good feeling. The look on your opponent's face like, I think I'm getting swindled right now. And then the judge, like, I was playing at a tournament, and I went for the combo, and my opponent, they just immediately threw their hand up and yelled, "Judge!" Like, I don't know if this is the way this interaction worked. And then as soon as the judge walked over, they were really helpful. They're like, "Yes," and then they saw the Mindcrank Dust Metal combo on the battlefield, and the judge goes, "Oh, ooh, okay, all right. So here's what's gonna." So very thankfully, that judge at that tournament happened to know what that combo was. But yeah, it's pretty fun. And I'm gonna be recording a Mindcrank Modern deck sometime soon, especially with Urza doing as well as it has. It's going to be a pretty good shelf for the deck. So you might see that sometime in the near future. But that's always been my little hobby Modern deck, is playing Mindcrank. So that's why we're running it in here. That's pretty much why I like Alela so much, is Thopter Foundry and Mindcrank combo. And then you just toss in a few Tezzerets, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful gameplay experience for everybody involved. Well, mainly just you. So let's go Drown Catacomb for the turn. I think that's what we ended up doing. And I think at this point, if we're going to Alela, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 2. That's going to be 18. I think that'll be pretty good. So let's do that. So let's just going to go Drowned Catacomb. We're going to go for some Sword of the Meek activations during our opponent's turn. So we'll simply just going to go and pass the turn. And then next turn, we'll be able to go for Alela and really kind of buff up our entire board. So, and that's the other cool thing is that you can just kind of sit back, and since it's instant speed, we can wait till we get to the end of our opponent's end step and then just go for all these activations and basically just kind of force them to have some sort of spot removal. And also, the other cool thing is, since you are sacrificing artifacts, you do get into this position to where, even if they do have some sort of artifact destruction in their hand, once they go for it, at instant speed in response, you can kind of basically kind of keep the loop going. Now, they'll still be able to destroy the Thopter Foundry combo, but there's different ways that you can kind of sequence it to where you can still generate all that value that you're looking for to get on the battlefield. So, opponent does have Xenagos on. Let's make sure we're not skipping past Xenagos. So, +1, add that mana to the amount of creatures you control. Create a 2/2 red-green sander creature token, and then -6. Okay, yeah, so we need to watch out for that -6. So we might end up sending some of these Thopter Foundries over at Xenagos, but at least have another turn for them to go for that activation, which would be pretty nice for us to be able to dodge that. All right, they're going to go for Karn's Bastion and go for the Proliferate. And so I think have they already activated? Yeah, they did already activate the ability, so that does put it at 6. So that will definitely get the attention of some of our Thopter Foundry Thopters swinging across next turn. And while I'm going for this loop, I'm going to do the first one. So we're going to add 2 colorless mana to our mana pool. We're going to click on Thopter Foundry, pay that 1 mana, sacrifice Sword of the Meek. Sword of the Meek goes to the graveyard. It's always yield to that. It's going to come back. Yes, return it back onto Thopter. And then we just kind of keep this loop going. So I'm going to go and speed the video up as I do this. Okay, there we go. We've got 9 tokens on the battlefield. Run into Lightning Greaves. Let's go and get Alela down, because and actually with Lightning Greaves, that works out perfectly. So let's go Alela. That's going to be tap down for Esper colors. We'll tap down that Darksteel Citadel. And oh, look at this showing. That's beautiful. Our opponent does have 2 cards in the hand, but I don't think we have to worry about anything. Let's go Hedron Archive. We're going to get an extra fairy token on the battlefield. And I think they do have Karn's Bastion, but let's go and put the Lightning Greaves onto Alela. Let's make the land drop for the turn. And let's go and push in. We definitely don't want to see that -6. So let's go and swing in Thopter at Xenagos. We're going to swing in Artful at Xenagos. We'll swing in 1 Thopter at Xenagos, and we'll swing in the rest at our opponent. All right, so we got 3 people swinging in at Xenagos. We got the entire other crew swinging in our opponent. Let's see if they've got any spot removal on. I don't really think we need to watch out for any of it, but at least we're going to be able to attack down our opponent's life total. Go back up to 40, which is very nice, and we'll just get down, I think, Phyrexian Arena. That sounds pretty good. Allow us to go for some card draw, and then we'll go and we'll get an extra artifact too, which is an extra fairy token, which is a nice feeling. And then we'll pass the turn back over to our opponent. So they are sitting at 16 if they don't whiff on this mana crypt trigger, which they do. So that does end up being lethal for these Thopter tokens to swing in. And this is where this combo is so fun to play, because even our opponent does have Hour of Devastation. Let's say they have some sort of board wipe. Once they clear the entire board out, once you get Thopter Foundry down, you just end up just getting down a ton of these Thopters. And it works out so perfectly with the Alela's +1 ability. All right, so we're going to see Wort enter the battlefield, and our opponent goes, dang, too good. Yeah, this is we got lucky with these particular 2 games, having most of our combo pieces in our hand as soon as the game started. But you can see how much overlapping value in a deck like this is. Not even getting down to Alela until basically turn 7, and then just being able to kind of piggyback off the Thopter Foundry combo. We even could have gone with Fabricate. We could have gone for the Mindcrank combo. It does take 7 mana to end up going for that. Good game to our opponent. They're going to scoop it up on this one, so we're going to be able to get it. We're going to be able to swing in with these Thopters. They were kind of digging, seeing if they had some sort of answer, but we're able to get the fairy tokens down and get the Thopter Foundry to come across. There's just a lot of times where you're playing Commander and you run out of resources in the hand, and we've got 1 card left in the hand. Opponent's got 3 cards. Just being able to tap out all of your mana and just instantly create an entire board of flying Thopter tokens that get a bonus from your Commander. It's such a nice way to close the game out. It's really hard to deal with that sometimes, and I don't know, it's just a really fun deck. Can't wait to keep playing with this. I think this is actually my favorite Commander from the new set. But if you enjoyed all the Thopter Foundry activations, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.